nothing from them. You're finished with your assignments. A couple things just to kind of go over with you guys, or with everyone. There are several purposes behind the assignments that you do for these classes, and these are to help prepare you as you go through the next 4 years of college. The first one is that I cannot implore on you enough that you need to read your syllabus. I have gotten, I can't tell you how many countless of emails this week with questions that were directly answered in the syllabus. So always read your syllabus first. I have 160 in this class, I have 160 in the afternoon. So when 20 or 30 of you email me questions that are in the syllabus, you need to read your syllabus. Please go back to that. In terms of turning in assignments, everything was supposed to be uploaded to Blackboard. There weren't supposed to be paper copies turned in. So please remember that. There are going to be things that down the road that you just need to get in the habit of being aware of everything in your syllabus, how you're supposed to turn everything in, grading scales, things like that. It's all there. It's all very clearly stated. So please make sure you read your syllabus for future classes, because by the questions I'm receiving, I can tell you I'm behind. I also implore upon you to not procrastinate. I got a call from Reach this morning that they had 60 requests for online seminars. It takes them 24 hours to load a seminar. That means 60 people are not going to get that grade because you waited to the very last day to do the assignment. So please, please do not procrastinate in your classes. It's going to be a much bigger issue when you get into your more advanced classes. When you're in a 300 level finance class, a 300 level econ class, you've got to have read an entire text before you come to class. If you haven't read it, it's going to be very evident to those faculty members who haven't. So please start getting in the habit. You know, another student and I were talking about this. This is what I did in college, color-coded everything. And I had a semester-wide calendar that I taped up on my wall, and I knew when everything was coming up, and I could just cross the days off as I went through. That was my way of doing it. Everybody's brain works functions differently. But don't wait till the last day, because there's a lot of people who aren't going to get Reach assignments because you waited till the last day to do it. That's the point of a lot of these assignments, is to kind of get you practicing and preparing for things. The STOMP modules, the library modules, those are university required. The Haven Alcohol ID, that's the university required. But things like the personal mission statement and the resume, those things are to help prepare you for when you go into Biz 201 next year. If anybody is registering as a freshman for Biz 201, you need to take that in sophomore year. That is not a first year level course. And I say sophomore year, I mean your second year of college, not if you have sophomore status. And you take that in your second or third year in college, not next spring, this coming spring. But the point of the assignments is you're building on things. To upload your assignments to Blackboard is because you're going to have classes where you have to do everything electronically and through Blackboard, so that's why I'm trying to get you in the habit of learning how to use it and going ahead and doing that. A lot of you are just emailing the assignments to me, and I'm responding back to you, upload to Blackboard. So please follow the instructions, because you're going to have classes that are going to be very precise about that in the future, and they're not going to take things if you just email them to them. So the other thing is about grades. A lot of your grades for this class are completion grades. The STOMP modules, as long as you have, I think it was a 70 or 75% higher, whatever was stated in the syllabus, it's a completion grade. Library, completion grade. 21 quiz, completion grade. The only things that can affect your grade in terms of grade-wise are the personal mission statement, SWOT analysis, and resume, and your attendance. Those are the things that can actually have a swing factor in your grade, but everything else is completion grade. So you cannot look at the grade that is posted on Blackboard and say, oh, there's my grade, because that's not an accurate portrayal. It also doesn't have the attendance on there. So please be aware of that, and grades probably will not, because again, there are 280 students between the two classes, you probably will not have grades posted until towards the end of the semester. So just in case you're wondering when those will come up, I have to go through and actually read everything that you've written and done if I haven't gotten through it already. So just because that's some questions have started coming up about that, so I wanted to let you know about that. So on to today's presentation, we have Dr. Nat Irvin, who's a futurist with us. This is a phenomenal opportunity for you guys, so I really hope you will take advantage of this. Computers, devices need to be put away, laptop or iPads, phones, everything need to be away, headphones need to be out of your ears. Tabletop tends need to be up because Dr. Irvin is very interactive in his presentations, and so he will want to talk with you. And I warned you about that. I sent that in a message earlier this week. So anyway, tabletop's up and note readable. And Dr. Irvin, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me? Good, great. So what a great gift, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for inviting me. And so show me your crack. Does everybody know what crack is? Who can explain what crack is? Who's this right here? What's crack? Do you know what crack is?
I have an idea, but
Yeah, let me hear the idea.
I don't think it's the right one.
No, how do you know? What is crack?
I don't know.
Shane, you do know, so what is it? What are you going to give me?
What about a butt crack? It's the only thing that can come to mind.
Yeah, you were right the first time. I was not thinking about that. Okay, anybody else? Crack. Whitney.
The drug.
The drug. Perfect. Got that one?
I'll think about drugs, so.
Okay, that's good. That's good. But you know what? That's so perfect because what I'd like you to do is find your crack right now. Can somebody show me what the crack is? The crack addiction that you have?
Probably this.
Probably this. Probably this. All right? So now everybody sees their crack? So what I'd like to do, I'm going to give you a gift, which is what Elizabeth has already done, is to find it and not put it in silent, but to put it in complete off. Okay, just complete off. Now, we're going to experience something that you have not experienced in a while. I already know this because all of you are addicted to it. You don't think you're addicted to it, but you are. You're not alone, by the way. Your parents are too. Anyway, this is going to be an interesting time today. We're going to have a good time. Let's go. Let's get started. Everybody get rid of the crack? Okay, good. We get the lights a little bit. Well, I have the lights, don't I?
So I came across this idea the other day. I think it was Aristotle who put it out there, but it was this notion that human beings don't care about spectacle. What they care about is ecstatic understanding, comprehension. In other words, cognitive ecstasy, defined as an exhilarating neurostorm of intense intellectual pleasure. The book, The Ravenous Brain, talks about this idea that consciousness is obsessed with pattern. Pattern is structure. Structure amidst the chaos, a signal in the noise. And when we find patterns, when we connect the dots, we experience this cognitive ecstasy, this exhilarating neurostorm. And, we get children, they're young, they're learning all the time, they're creating new synaptic connections. They experience this cognitive ecstasy, this curiosity, this insatiable drive to understand is on fire, is fervor, is feral in little kids. Imagine the first time you look at a microscope and you see that cosmos revealed for the first time of the microscopic. Or when you look through a telescope and you all of a sudden see the cosmos of the macroscopic. Perhaps the best line was Ross Anderson's description of the ontological awakening provided by the Hubble Space Telescope's images of the deep field. He said, through the sheer aesthetic force of its discoveries, the Hubble distilled the complex abstractions of astrophysics into singular expressions of color and light, vindicating Keats' famous couplet, "Beauty is truth, truth, beauty." And the sad part, as Sir Ken Robinson says, is that we lose this when we grow up. That educational institutions are failing us. They're not providing the context for this curiosity to explode, to continue to emerge indefinitely. Instead, we slowly die. And I think our goal is to create media, to create content, to create spaces that allow us to stay curious, to stay alive, to awaken the wonder junkie in all of us, to unleash the brave, reckless gods within us all. That is my goal. That is why we make Shots of Awe. That is why I love the TED Conference. That is why we're here. That is what we live for. Moves me every day.
Golly, I love that. God, it gets me every time I see it, and I've seen it many, many times. And I'm especially delighted to have this opportunity to share the next few minutes with you all. I'm a professor of management. I teach in the MBA program. I teach team dynamics, leadership, and I teach a course called Managing in the Future. But I also have the privilege of working with a lot of Fortune 500, Fortune 20, Fortune big companies around the world. And the information that I'm going to share with you today, not exactly what I share with CEOs and management teams, but it's very similar. So I'm going to bring it to you just as if it were next month I'm going to give a talk for Intel. So the same kinds of ideas that I'm going to share with Intel, the same kinds of ideas that I'm going to share with you. And the thing that I love about sharing the future with your age is similar to what we just saw. Is you still have that curiosity, that sort of Madeline, that sort of childlike wonder about the future. And I very much appreciate the response that most of you have given me for your assignment, which is one of the assignments that I give to all the MBA students, often give it to major groups that I'm working with, just to help them to nurture the idea of thinking about the unseen, about what we don't know. And it just drives, I just love it when I can get great ideas. One of you all wrote back when I asked, thinking about what an idea, a value, something that might disappear. Somebody actually, this is the first time I've ever had this to happen, Allison, where somebody actually wrote that they thought walking would disappear in the future. And it was because they saw a correlation between the little hovercraft. Has anybody got one of those? Anybody have the little hover? Who has one? You have one? You do? Who's that? Your name is, oh, by the way, you have to speak up. Ryan, so you have one of those? When did you get it? Stand up, come on, stand up.
Stand up?
Yeah, stand up. Yeah, I want to talk to you. So what's it like to be riding on this thing?
It's cool, it's just like a little toy.
You got to, can you all hear him over there? No, say no, I can't hear him. They can't hear you.
It's really cool, it's like just a toy.
So where did you get it from, by the way?
Amazon.
Amazon, how much did you pay?
$300.
$300. Was that a good price?
Yeah.
How did you know?
Because the other ones were ranging from like 300 to 1,500.
And how did you know to do that? Did your research, great. And so, there's a lot of debate right now about how to buy actually the hovercraft, isn't it? Yeah. Right. So what do you think about the idea of saying that it would eliminate the future of walking? Did you agree with that?
I wouldn't agree with that just because you can't like go over steps and bumps and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of, you have to be on a smooth surface.
Smooth surface. But somebody's actually working on the redesign to actually be able to go upstairs, right? You've seen that?
Yeah, I have seen it.
Yeah, but you're not going to do it, right? Dangerous, good. Anyway, good. Thank you, Ryan, so much. I appreciate that. So let's see, Rachel, what do you make of that scene right there? And what's the significance for our talk today? Come on, Ms. McDowell.
Something is floating behind the horse carriage.
A hunter. What do you make of that?
It's kind of a combination of like old things and new things.
Very good. Old things and new things. What's the old thing?
The horse carriage.
Who would that, what community would that represent? And Emily, you going to help him out? The Amish. The Amish, good. So Lauren, what's the other thing up in the sky? A blimp. What's the significance of the blimp? Come on, Lauren, you're with me. It's floating. How about somebody else? Who knows the answer to this? Come on, it's not possible that you all know the answer to this. It's not possible. Yes.
It's the future.
Okay.
As compared to the Amish.
That's good, but specifically, what's this blimp? Anybody knows this? No, this can't be true. This is not possible that you don't know what this is. Yes, Sam?
Is it a weather balloon?
No. Guys, this is not possible that you don't know what this is. Yes? No. Hindenburg fell 1919, I think it was. Yes?
The one that crashed the other day?
Tell me about it. Who was that?
It was
Give me your name, though. Stephen, thank God you saved the class. I was getting ready to be really depressed here. Okay, so Stephen, stand up. Tell me, what is it? Now listen to this.
it was like a U.S. government blimp that went down in a big field.
It's called the J-Lens, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, that's all.
That's all you got?
Yeah.
It's not bad. Come on, stay with me. So it is the United States, it's part of the United States Department of Defense, the Army in particular. It is a surveillance very sophisticated technology. It was originally stationed to be over Washington, D.C. to be able to do what?
To like watch over, like a overlooking person.
Right, so for surface-to-air missiles, to be able to detect if there's any kind of hostile missiles or hostile action being taken over a particular area, right? So it's very, very sophisticated. So what we've got here is both the past, as was said over here by Madeline, both the past and the future. Very distinct, very different times. And by the way, one of the things that I would encourage you as future managers to do is to pay attention to communities that are not changing. Watch the Amish and see what they can teach you about the future. All right, let's keep going. All right. Thank you. So what does it mean to live, to work, to think, to believe, and to innovate in a very different world than the one that we're in now? That's what our topic is. Now the question is, for you, whether or not you're in management or not, whether you lead an organization or not, whether you have your own business or not, here's the lens that you have to use to think about the future. And I suspect because you all are in business, in some way or another, this will be the lens that you will use. And it's just with management. It turns out, because of the nature of work and because of our own humanity, this is still the best way for us to look at our circumstances, to manage your organization. It is through the lens of management. And that's the one I want to narrow us today, and for you to take away from this experience with me, is to begin to think about, what does management mean? What does it mean for you? Managing yourself, managing your organization, managing the resources. Okay? Now, managing in the future. Today I'm going to do a series of thought experiments with you, which is what I did in that experiment with you in your assignment. It's making you think about the future in many different ways. So let's say this. I'm going to select Caitlin. You ready? Caitlin, you're the CEO, and this is your new business plan. Did I pronounce it wrong? Is it Catlin? Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm blind on my left side. I should have said that earlier. So guys over there, I won't be able to see you unless I turn that way. Okay, Caitlin, you're developing your new business plan. Can you tell me some things that are going to be in your new business plan? Get some help, too. Nice and loud.
Organization.
Excellent. You got an organization. What else?
Money management.
You got money management, organization, chart. What else you got?
Revenue plan.
You're doing great. Come on, you're doing fantastic. Ask Rachel to help you. Communications plan. Pick somebody else. You got a good team here. Keep going. Get Ivy here. She'll help you. What else? Investors, you got resources, what else? You got James? James, right here, James Ratcher. What do you mean, oh man? Aren't you in, oh man, that means I'm going to come over here and stay now. What else in the business plan?
Mission statement.
Mission statement, perfect. Shelby.
Like people with different jobs, like accountants.
Sure.
HR.
Good, you're doing great. Christian. This one right here, yeah. Is that you? Yeah. Okay, you got your name, but you act like I'm calling somebody else.
Like location.
Location, what do you mean by location?
Startup,
Where your headquarters is going to be? Logan.
a budget.
A budget. Excellent, you guys are good. This is a great business plan. All right, so that's your new CEO. So you're the new CEO. What do you respond? How do you respond to this? So that's what we've been doing, the essential successful business. What about this? What would you think if you went to the board, or if you were the board and Caitlin came to you with no financial projections, no market research, no concept of market research or discussion of which advertisers would be targeted first, no channel strategy or discussion of how to sell the ad product. Not only that, no concept of an organizational chart. No product roadmap detailing what management team would build, no budget, despite what Logan said, no targets or milestones that the board and company leaders can use to monitor the progress. What would you think of that, Stephen Henderson?
Doesn't really sound like they have anything.
They don't have anything. That's a good answer. How about you, Turner? How would you respond? Kind of crap. I love that. It's a good answer. How about you, Mary Sturgeon?
Probably reject them.
Reject them. Very good. How about you, Sarah? You gotta have a better idea than that. It's not gonna work. How about you, Preston?
I wouldn't think they're very serious about what they're trying to do.
That is excellent. Not very serious about what they're trying to do. How about you, Sterling?
Well, no agreement with them whatsoever.
You-
Nothing.
In other words, you would throw them out.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
You gotta go, huh? How about you, Mia? It's no good. Nicholas? Seems like a joke. God, you're killing me. Nobody thinks this is a good idea, Justin?
I would see what else they have. We're talking about what they don't have. What do they have?
Oh, that's great. That's a great answer. Okay, read this for me, would you?
We understood that our founders intuitively grasped how to lead in this new era, but they, by their own admission, didn't know how to build a company to the scale where it could achieve their ambitious visions. They were great leaders of their computer scientists, but we needed more than a computer scientist to create a great company.
Good. Ah, the genius. Turns out, keep going.
When it came to management tactics, the only thing we could say for sure back then was that much of what the two of us had learned in the 20th century was wrong, and that it was time to start over.
Ah, right. So now, by now, you figure that everybody who has flunked this company actually turns out to be Google. This is Eric Schmidt, who was talking with Sergey and Larry, the founders of Google, and this is what they brought to the business plan. This is exactly it. It's from their book called How Google Works. And the thing that's so powerful about it, if you get a chance to read that book, by the way, if you beat your competitors, if you read that book, is they're talking about, he and Jonathan Rosenberg are talking about how you have to start with how some of the assumptions they had about the past weren't going to work for the future. And for you, the advantage you have is you now know this. But who was it that, was it Christian who just read for me, who said they must have something else. And apparently they did have something else. And it's something that you have too, which you have benefited from by being born of this particular time. So the challenge is going to be for you, how do you use what you may intuitively know from being a digital native, about thinking differently about things, how do you use that to your advantage as a manager? That's what your challenge is. Okay? That's a part of your challenge. That's not the only challenge. But here's the thing. And this will be true for you too, and it's true for the managers, the companies you work for. You've already noticed this. Once we recognize that the world has changed, most of us are very bad at adapting our behavior to the new reality. Most of us don't like to change. We like to talk about change. Most of us don't want to do it. And once in a while, though, however, you'll see, this is from my era. It won't be from your era. I'm 64, so this will be from my era. That's who knows who that is? Oh, so you guys know, huh? Okay, so that is Playboy no longer publishing nude photos, which is a weird thing to think about, how you could have a company like Playboy from my time. I was a freshman in 1969. It was a magazine of our time. It's supposed to be reading the articles. Nobody did. But now you can see that here it is disruption, why this is such a big deal, because here it is, you would think this was one mission, but now it turns out technology has changed that, so now the company has to change. This was the assignment I gave to you the other day, and many of you responded to it. And here's some of the responses that you had, and we're going to explore these, not all of these, a few of these, to see what do you really think about privacy? What do you really think about, say, demography or the role of technology? A few of these areas here. We're going to explore that in just a few minutes. Now, of course, as I said to you a second ago, I ask these kinds of questions all the time, and here's what some adults just recently wrote. I gave a talk for the Community Foundation, their leadership team. Here's what some of them thought about the question. Single-family home ownership, that less inclined to own a home, that you would be less inclined. That we're going to be much healthier in the future because of the way we think about disease. Some of you noticed the decline of the role of the church. They also noted that. Two-party political system, thinking that that's dysfunctional, that we're going to have a different way of thinking about politics. Some of you, in fact, and several of you thought that print media was going to go away. How many of you think that's the case? That we will just see a decline in the use of books? Raise your hands if you think that's the case. Raise your hands really high. Okay, that's pretty widespread. I think you're all wrong, dead wrong. Okay? Just absolutely dead wrong. In fact, let me give you an example of why I think that might be wrong. Let's say, for example, how many of you have Kindle? Who has a Kindle? Good. Or you have something like that, right? Okay, here's how technology impacts that. So you use an algorithm, Claire. Let's say that you have a Kindle, say, okay, you have a Kindle. You don't, but you have one, right?
All right.
You got one, right? Okay, good. Okay, so now we have algorithms that determine how much you have actually read from a particular book. As you know that, right? Everybody understands that. And so what the company does now, this is not make-believe, by the way. What the company does now is they determine how much Claire has read of a particular book, the e-book. And so now the author, who happens to be Anna Henry, will only be paid based upon how much you have read. What do you think about that, Anna?
I'm gonna have to get her to read more.
You are. Excellent. You're going to have to get her to read more. Good, great perception. So how are you going to get her to read more?
Give her cheaper books, maybe.
Maybe not cheaper books, but you want her to go further in the book, right? Because you're going to be paid by how much further she reads. So how might you adjust what you write to get her to read more?
Make it more interesting.
Make it more interesting. What would that be? Give an example to make her read more.
Like celebrity gossip.
God, this is so good. This is like we planned this, right?
Sure.
Okay, now what do you think about that, Thomas? What about that scenario?
I feel like it could work.
It could work. But I don't mean whether it could work, but what do you think about that in terms of the richness of how people would write?
I mean, I feel like you just have to feel like if you want people to read more, you have to feel like what they like more.
What they like more, I got you, I'm good, I got that, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. But Raleigh, in terms of the context of the emphasis of great literature, do you think that model is going to work?
Probably not.
Why not?
Because if you're giving them like an incentive to write worse, then why would they write better?
That is so good. Something to really think about, isn't it? We've never had that before. But is that a really good strategy for the future, Claire?
What?
Did you leave me?
Yes, a little bit.
That's all right. That happens when you're thinking about the future. It happens when you think about it. Is that the whole idea of being able to use an algorithm to decide how much further a person would write? Or what a person, in other words, I know what your habits are. I'll know what her habits are because every time she opens up that book, I can know what he or she has read. And that comes back to Amazon. It comes back to the writer. Is that really is that a good way to write? Is that a good way to develop long, deep, important thoughts about any subject?
No.
Why? How do you know that? How do you know that? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, how do you know that?
Know that, like, they won't, like,
No, that you think something is wrong with that model, don't you?
like this is already gossip model?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I think it needs to be, like, more appealing to, like, more audiences and, like, it needs
Yeah, but I mean, if you're a writer, you're not going to get paid. You're only going to get paid by the amount of pages that he or she reads.
so you need to make it more, like, interesting towards the, like, end.
So this is all good. You're getting this. Okay, I suspected the class is getting this. And that you can see what happens is that we will start to create a business model based upon how much he or she or a person might read, which changes the whole notion of what is important and what is not important. But it's not just that. There are other reasons why I think print will last. One, it's there's something tactical about a book. It's one of those technologies that we've inherited as humans, created so many years ago. Sometimes you'll get a perfect technology, like a pencil, that will adapt itself. People have been saying books are going to end for a very long time. I tell you, you still have them. Two-party political system, print media borders. Let's see what else we got here. I need to get close to this one. Postal Service, several of you mentioned that. But I can tell you that the Postal Service is trying to adapt as well. Anonymity. Persons will no longer be able to be unidentified. You got a hand over here, yes?
Oh, wouldn't that model actually weed out like unnecessary information and like bad writing? Because more knowledge and more like interesting stuff would be read. You know what I'm saying?
Keep going, keep going.
Because like, for example, I would not read anything about celebrity gossip. I would want to read more knowledgeable stuff and more that would like make my higher thinking, almost like it would only.
I love that, but let me just ask you this. Do you think Tolstoy, do you think War and Peace would have been written with that model?
I mean, maybe not, but.
No. Just think about that. Would War and Peace have been written using that model?
If people read it, yeah. But.
I see a hand over here.
I mean, I was going to say, like, I don't like to read celebrity gossip either, and I like to read biographies and political novels and stuff like that, but all my cousins that are in middle school, they like to read celebrity gossip, and like,
Then we need to change that.
yeah, we do. I agree. That's the problem.
People need to yearn for knowledge.
Yeah, but for those of you who like to read celebrity gossip, we're using it as a metaphor. Okay, we're just using it as a metaphor. But that's a great point, Bonnie. What about you, Josh? Weigh in on this. Because that's a great point over here, which you're saying, and the question I'm raising now is, would any of the great books that we've inherited, would they have been written using, why not?
Because they didn't need to be. They were more knowledgeable. They had more information.
Yeah, but...
And they were hard copied, too.
Right, but I'm saying, but think about the writer themselves. Would people have read them? Would you have read any of the great books that you've read now? Would they have been written?
No.
They wouldn't. Why?
Because they're trying to, I mean, as a writer, yeah, you want to, like, change the world and talk about, like, express yourself, but you got to make money, too.
You gotta make money too.
If you can't make money writing stuff that you believe in, then you got to make money writing crap.
Okay, so there we have the market. That's good. Let's keep going. All right, let's keep going. We got to go. Seeing the future through new eyes. All right, the truth is hidden below the surface. In order to really understand what's going on, you have to dig deep below the skin. By the way, Elizabeth, how much time do I have, Steph? I got to pay attention to this.
You have 45 minutes.
45 minutes? Okay, great. 40, okay, because this is going to go quickly. I'm going to have to rush a little bit, but I want to hear more from you. All right. A wonderful book, The Age of Insight. This is Eric Kandel, who is obviously a Nobel Prize winner, but he's written this wonderful book that looks at the intersection of science, of looking at art and science, actually psychology, art and science, medicine. And but one of the takeaways from the book is this, that the truth is hidden below the surface, but in order to really understand what's going on, you have to look deep below the skin. Now, another book that you have not read yet, but I recommend you, when you get time, maybe this summer, to read this one. This is called Thinking Fast and Thinking Slow. Really very important book. It can't be read overnight, but it's one of those fundamental books that now helps us to understand how irrational we are. We think we're rational, but we're not. And just to begin, and it is the whole notion of behavioral economics. Let's do this real quickly. Mr. Robinson, 1948, Mr. Robinson's bat and ball cost $1.10 in total. The bat cost $1 more than the ball. How much did the ball cost? Thomas? You say 5 cents. How about you, Nor? Is it Norhe? Yeah. Norhe? 10 cents. How about you, Sarah? 10 cents. How about you, Brendan? 10 cents. 10 cents. Good. Could be Michael? 10 cents. David? Okay, how many of you think it's 10 cents? Just raise your hands. It's not going to hurt you. I'm not giving you grades. Yeah, 10 cents. How many of you think is another number? How can we have such a difference in opinion between something as simple as, adding and subtraction? Yes, Sam?
Is the ball 50 cents?
If you say it's 50 cents?
No. Oh, no, I'm thinking something different.
That's okay. How about you, Justin?
It could be either one because if you do the math, they both add up to $1.10.
So what number did you choose?
I didn't choose either.
Well, you got to choose one. This is just basic. I'm asking you. Come on, give me a number, Justin.
5 cents?
Why did you say 5 cents?
Well, I don't know. It just depends.
It can't be just depends. That is not an answer. Lydia.
I said that the ball would be 4 cents because when you think about $1, you add tax, which is 6%,
No, there's no tax. There's no tax.
Well, then I'm gonna say 10 cents.
You're going to say 10 cents. Shanice? 10 cents, okay. Let's see, Braden, have I called you?
No.
Okay, so what's the answer?
5 cents.
5 cents. Why is it 5 cents?
I don't know. I did this once.
I did this once. I love that. Don't you love, Elizabeth, don't you love honesty? I don't know, I did this once. That's such a great answer. Okay, it happens to be right, but why is that, Abigail?
Because if you take the 5 cents ball and add $1 to it, then the ball costs $1.05, and then $1.05 plus 5 cents is $1.10 total.
So it's really simple, isn't it? But yet, everybody says 10 cents. Okay, except my guy over here and somebody else who's done it already before. So that's one of those examples. That's also what's called System 1 thinking. Let me give you another example here. How about this one? This is a Hong Kong elementary school, first grade school student admissions test. Has anybody taken this test before? You have, so don't answer then, okay? Good. So all I want to know is what parking spot number is the car parked in? Spencer? 87. You said 87? Yeah. How about you, Nicholas? What? You just wanted to guess, huh? Yeah. Yeah, just give me a guess. Emanuela? You say 87? Okay, how about you, Todd? 87. Now, for those of you who didn't figure that out, what is it about it? Why is it that you got it wrong, Ellen? Did you get it right or wrong? You got it right. How did you get it right? The numbers are upside down, so that was one thing. But what is it that gives you a clue about it being upside down? How do we park into a parking space? There we go. All right, just looking at that. Okay. All right, so 87 is it. Now here's an example right here. Which way is the dancer dancing? Lucas? Which way is she dancing? Clockwise or counterclockwise? How about you, Tyler? Clockwise? How about you, David? Clockwise. We got all the clockwisers over here. What are the counterclockwisers? Oh man, so somebody says you're wrong here, sir. You see it clockwise. How can somebody see it counterclockwise? Isn't this sort of like objective data? Spencer?
If you're like spinner upside down, it would go counterclockwise.
So you can see it both ways?
I guess so, yeah.
Is that a yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no?
I'm saying it's counterclockwise.
Oh, so you weren't saying yes? Yeah, okay. You got to be specific. Clara? Looks clockwise. All right, now so if you look at the heel, which would be right here, look right here, and you can use your mind and you can see it, make it go both ways. Notice that? Isn't that amazing? What that tells you is about how it is that we see things. So how we see things. This is one of those things, and one of the great lessons to take as you go into the future. Somebody's going to see 3, somebody's going to see 4, and you're going to see the same data. Now I'm going to give Justin another chance to see if he can add. All right, Justin, you ready? All right, add 1,000, take 40, add another 1,000, add 30, add another 1,000, add 20, add another 1,000. Justin, what is it? I know this is pressure. But you're in school, you're in college. You can add numbers. Okay, what's the answer?
It's 4,090.
All right, we got 4,900. What's somebody else? 4,090. Okay, Rachel. Rachel Lopez. I'm sorry? I didn't hear you.
I got the same.
You got the same answer? For some reason, I don't think that's... Are you sure that's what you really think? I don't think that's... Maggie?
4,900.
4,900. Somebody else? I'm just asking a basic question. You all know, you've taken... Aren't you taking some math classes? Clifford? 4,090. Elizabeth? Who's teaching math? Who's teaching finance? Sam? Oh, God, that's the worst answer ever. Catherine? I'm just asking, adding. Yes. Madison?
4,090.
4,090. You guys, just use your own head. El Shaddai.
I got 4,090, yes, so.
Oh, God, this is like a disease spreading. Nobody can add. Whitney?
I got 4,090.
That couldn't possibly be right. Dakota? Wait, this is worse. Stop the class. You're all going to flunk Business 101. You can't add numbers? What is it? Is it the pressure of adding? Oh, God, I thought I was going to get a lot better response than that. Tristan?
Yeah, I got the same thing.
All right, here we go. Class, take 1,000. Everybody got that? Add 40. Add another 1,000. Add 30. Add another 1,000. Add 20. Add another 1,000. Oh, gosh. Okay, put it on paper. Come back to it another time. Eyesight versus insight. Just because you have eyesight doesn't mean that you aren't blind. Oh, I'm not going to give you an answer like that. I can't believe you just... Okay, because you have eyesight doesn't mean you aren't blind. Thomas, you got the answer, didn't you? Uh-huh. Who said 5,000? It's not 5,000, but anyway, I just want to see if you got it. Because you have eyesight doesn't mean that you aren't blind, and being blind doesn't mean you can't have vision. That's one of those lessons that I have taken from having had an accident when I was 4. When I lost my sight swinging at a golf ball, missed it, had a piece of glass that left 2 stitches in my left side. And it would change the way that I would be able to see things, depth of field, change things. Now, I'm really still good in racquetball, but I have to compensate for it. Right? Things that have to do with depth of field, some of you have 2 perfectly good eyes. I'm not so good at that. But in terms of management, there's a great lesson about that. Just because somebody is looking at something doesn't mean that they're really seeing it. Okay? And what we just did a few minutes ago was what's called System 1 thinking. That's where you got the math wrong on both of the problems. While you would think the dancer was driving is dancing one way or another, System 1 is that's just the thing that we use really quickly. 2 plus 2 is 4. If I say 14 times 16, you're going to have trouble doing that immediately. Doesn't mean you can't do it, but you're going to need System 2 to help you to do it. Read words on the large billboards. That's System 1. You'll see that really quickly. When you drive, understanding simple sentences. That's System 1. System 2 is when you say, for example, look for a woman with white hair, if I were to say that. Then you would immediately have to slow yourself down to be able to go and do that. Or to tell someone your phone number. Or imagine driving and you have to say, somebody asks you, what is 20 times 17? You can do 2 times 4 and drive, but you won't be able to do the other. Or here's a great one right here. Focus on the voice of a particular person in a crowded and noisy room. That's System 2. Now, these are ways of thinking about how you think about things.
You send a robot into a hostile environment where decisions have to be made quickly, and the algorithm will have to take care of that. The question is, will there be humans in the loop, or will they be on the loop, or will they be out of the loop?
Killer robots are weapons that would make drones look primitive. At least with a drone, there is a human being who looks at a computer screen, sees the target, and pushes the buttons to fire the missiles and kill.
As we begin to approach the possibility of having machines select and engage targets, we want to be very careful not to cross that line without high-level policy review.
As technology races ahead, as we achieve these fantastical advances, what decisions are we going to be comfortable delegating to machines? And what kinds of decisions are we going to insist on reserving for the exercise of human judgment?
Okay. So now I want you to get in a group of about 4, just 4s, find 4s. And I want you to think of 3 decisions that only humans should make. Okay, I'm going to give you 3.5 minutes to do this. Right? Just get in a group of 4. Human decisions that only humans should make and not machines. Okay? Get with the group, get with the group, get with the group. Get with the group. Right over here, right over this way. Now, get over here this way. Yeah, go over this way. Get with these guys. Let's go. Come on, guys, come on. Is this your group? Okay. Hey, you which group are you with? These guys right here? Good. What was that? You with this group? Okay, good. What did y'all come up with? That's good. One more minute, one more minute. Hadis Salamovic. 30 seconds. How much time do we have left?
About 25 minutes.
Good, okay. Okay. Great, thank you so much. So let's have some volunteers stand up and speak on behalf of your group. El Shaddai. Nice and loudly.
We said the death sentence, mass destruction, so like an atomic bomb, and then like leadership roles like president or anything like that.
Okay, so we should not leave, stand up, that's correct. So you're saying, because there's a lot of discussion in the artificial intelligence community, that we should leave political decisions to artificial intelligence, that we should let intelligence in the form of a robot make better political decisions. Now, the first one was the death sentence. What did you mean by that, your group?
Just knowing who dies and who doesn't, that would be kind of scary to leave to technology.
Wait a minute, I don't get, I was with you, but then you lost me.
So like, I guess, like if someone received the death sentence, like let's say like prisoners and things like that, like do we want to leave that up to technology? Because humans understand the human experience, like would technology understand the human experience?
So what are you saying the role of is you saying the robots would kill the people, or the robots would decide whether they should live or die?
Yeah, the robots would decide. They would have the decision.
Of whether to live or die. So basically what you're saying is that we should not use artificial intelligence to decide whether a person is guilty or not?
Yes.
We shouldn't, but what if they do it better than people did?
But what if it went wrong? That's someone's life.
But human beings do it all the time.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, that's good. I saw a hand over here.
Well, I was just going to add to
Nice and stand up. Yes, Emily?
All right, I will. I was going to add to the fact that I read an article on Facebook,
Yes.
Facebook, whatever, that talked about how self-driving cars can kill the people in the car for the greater good. Kind of like if they were going towards a group of 20 people sitting in the road, the car would veer off itself and kill whoever was in the car to save 20 people. And I kind of feel like that's a morality issue that's really difficult to determine if a robot should be able to do it or not.
So let's do that. Let's do that. Emily, let's do that. Okay, good, very good. So Emily, so the decision would be, which is the question you're raising is, who will driverless cars decide to kill? So your response would be to what, of those three scenarios up there in the front?
Well,
Nice and loud, everybody, please.
I kind of feel like a self-driving car shouldn't get itself in this position because it should be smart enough to know to not go that way.
I love this. It should be smart enough to know. Well, who is it that designs the self-driving cars?
I have no clue.
No, you do know.
Yeah, people.
Oh, Sajan? Sanja? Sergeant? So Sergeant, would you help out? So who was the designer driverless cars?
People.
Oh, okay, so he puts it back on you, human.
So did you say that like the humans would program the car to know when to make these ethical decisions?
Well, that's exactly what the issue is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, because what this is saying and why this is important for you is humans are going to make these decisions. And it turns out that one of the most important aspects of business for the future will be moral philosophy. Turns out, that you learn when you take your philosophy courses. It's going to turn out to be a lot more important for business than any other area. It's going to turn out to be, in fact, I happen to have majored in philosophy as an undergraduate. Of course, I'm prejudiced, right? I would be prejudiced about that. But this is it's very interesting. You saw this on Facebook, but it is a part of your community. I'm going to show you some other examples of where it is that human beings are caught in this place of where we have these very smart technologies, and now we've got to decide what do we do with them. And Emily, so your response was, if the car, which is you don't get the decision of saying it should be smarter because you're going to design it. Right? You're going to design it. What do you do if the car has to make a decision between whether it kills you or whether it kills somebody else? What would be your decision?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Well, you do have an idea. You just may be reluctant to share it.
I guess I would want it to kill me.
You would want it to kill you?
Yeah.
Okay, does everybody understand this? The option is the car has to make a decision. Because see, what you're doing is you're building an artificial system, an artificial intelligence system. It's got to make a decision. It is either going to kill one person, it's going to kill 5, or it's going to kill 10, or it's going to kill you. And you've got to decide in terms of the algorithms. This is what Volvo's trying to decide. This is what Mercedes is trying to decide. Audi is trying to decide. Elon Musk with the Tesla is deciding. In fact, all of artificial intelligence in the driverless community is trying to decide what do you do in this. Then after you make a decision, they have to think about which car would Emily likely buy. Now, if you're a parent, which car, which algorithm, ethical algorithm, would you buy for your child? The one that saves your baby. Makes a perfectly good sense. Yes, a hand over here.
If that were to happen, who gets in trouble for that? Would the person who owns the vehicle inside of it, or would the dealership, or who made the car, or?
Well, so there you are. You walked into the moral quandary. So what are insurance companies doing? I have an answer for you, but let me see whether somebody else knows. Yes.
I was just going to say, on morality too, isn't it killing one person the same as killing multiple people? So wouldn't you technically be killing yourself by choosing to crash yourself? So shouldn't it be 50-50?
Well, what would you decide?
Probably split second if it were me. Can't really say, but.
Well, no. See, that won't work. No, you can't. You don't get away with that.
Probably go for survival. I don't know.
No. That I don't know business. That's not going to work. You got to make a decision. You're the one who brought it up. So which one do you decide?
I'd probably go through it or honk. I don't know.
I'm sorry?
My first instinct would probably honk, tell them to get out of the way.
No. You're missing the whole scenario. You don't have that option. The car has been, you're designing the algorithm. So when you get to this situation, it has to make one of 3 choices. Which choice will it make? You're not in charge. You're designing the algorithm for it to make the decision.
I'm not sure. I probably wouldn't be in that position.
You do what?
I probably wouldn't be in that position.
Okay, so see, there you see what denial is, right, Ryan? You see what denial is. All right, let's go back. Okay. All right, let me hear some more about decisions that your team made, your groups made. Somebody else. Oh, yes. Nice to stand up, please.
We said that we don't think there's any decisions that we should leave to robots.
Okay. No decisions.
Yes.
Why?
In my own thinking, a decision is based off of subjective and objective value.
Right.
And robots don't have the capacity to understand subjectivity.
Okay, they don't have the capacity to understand subjectivity.
Yes.
You think that's important?
Yes.
Talk about that. I like this.
Okay. Well, basically, humans don't have, we're not bound by objectivity.
Uh-huh.
We have the decision, we can all choose to be different, and we all are different.
Right.
And we have the capacity to have that inherently.
Uh-huh.
And that's something that can't be programmed because you can't program subjectivity. You can't make subjectivity objective.
Okay. Keep going. This is great. I love this.
And yeah, basically, I think that it would be better for decisions to be made with implicit value than simply explicit value.
Okay. I love that. So you want to hold on to your notion of humanity. I don't have, where's your name tag?
Oh, it's right here.
Yeah, let me have it. That is Ben. Okay, great, Ben. I love this. So Ben, but tell me this. Are you saying that humans make better decisions than algorithms?
What do you mean by better?
I'm using your definition.
Well, I'd say that it'd be better to have the variable of subjectivity.
Right. So you would say, for example, let's just say we go to the matter of sentencing.
Okay.
Sentencing, right, the court, right? It turns out the research says that oftentimes juries make bad decisions, or that judges are arbitrary in the way that they will render justice, or that, because human beings, we're complex, some of us are racist, some of us are sexist. It turns out the research says that if you are before a judge and you come at about 11 o'clock, you're going to get a harsher sentence because people tend to be hungry.
Right. I think that has to do also with whatever the standard was of the person doing the research, which is the beautiful thing about subjectivity is that we have the power to have the standard change. And that's a good thing.
Right.
Because it can reflect basically what people think the most.
Right.
Instead of being bound by one specific algorithm. And I think that humanity should be allowed to change.
To change.
To evolve.
But you do think that it's a good idea to use algorithms sometime, don't you?
So I guess that means that I would never, the question was like, what would you leave up to a robot? I said you would never leave anything to pure algorithm.
Uh-huh.
Because, obviously if a human could change the algorithm, then that would be a result of his change in his subjectivity.
Gotcha. Okay, that's good. I like that. All right, stay with me for a minute, okay, Ben? Here's one right here. I'm going to move fast. I want you to do this one. So Julie's traveling in France on a summer vacation from college with Mark. One night they decided that it would be interesting and fun if they tried making love. Julie was already taking birth control pills, but Mark uses a condom too, just to be safe. They both enjoy the sex, but decide not to do it again. They keep the night as a special secret, which makes them feel closer to each other. What do you think about that? Was it okay for them to make love?
So there's a lot of things that really aren't known, as in like what does it mean to be, what does okay mean? Does that mean something different to me than it would mean for them?
Right.
If you're asking would I do that, I'd say no, because what I believe in and what I choose to believe in is basically some of the fundamental tenets of Christianity. But that's not necessarily the same thing for them.
Right.
So I wouldn't be able to say, so was it okay for them to do that?
Right.
To my standard, no. To their standard, yeah.
Okay, somebody else. Thank you so much, Ben. Great. How about another hand? Oh, yes. Hey, stand up and give me your name.
My name is Mitch Meyer. I would say it's okay, just
So-
because like in today's world, like that kind of like standard has dropped so much compared to like 25 or 30 years ago that in like today's society, it's like really acceptable to just like hook up, which is essentially what that's saying.
All right, good. How many of you think it's okay? Just raise your hands. It's okay. Good, great. All right. How about this? Let's read it again. Julie's traveling France on summer vacation from college with her brother, Mark. One night they decided to be interested in fun, they tried making love. So what happened to all of the yeses who thought it was okay? What happened? Jenna, you were with it before, right? You didn't agree with it before. She says conveniently. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if you did that or not. Who was it that was a yes before? Give me a new hand. Poonam. Yes. What changes? Yeah, but I'm just the but you know, it's no biology. It's nothing there. What is it that makes you go, no?
Well, for me.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, but before you could say it's okay, but all of a sudden now everybody goes, ugh. Right? We go, no. We don't know exactly why. Okay, things that we learn. We have things that we've learned from our parents. We've learned from history. We have a lot of reasons why we think and believe some things. How about this? A woman is cleaning out her closet. She finds an old American flag. She doesn't want the flag anymore. She cuts it up into pieces and uses the rags to clean her bathroom. Why? Patriotism. Family's dog is killed by a car in front of their house. They heard that dog meat was delicious, so they cut up the dog's body and cook it and eat it for dinner. All right, no. All right, let me go. I got to close, so I've got a couple of other things here to do. Let me give you. Let's do something with big data. Here's hiring with algorithms. What we're finding now is that artificial intelligence, contrary to what Ben says, artificial intelligence is telling us a lot more about how to hire people rather than just letting humans use their own ways of being able to tease out what the best person is. A lot of our assumptions about what we think is going to work in human beings turns out to be not exactly verifiable by data. That doesn't mean that Ben's point is not a good one because we have to change the algorithms. But anyway, let me get to this other. I want to share this with you before we go. Okay, this is this one. Yes. Okay, that's where they will end here.
Pizza Palace, guaranteed hot in 30 minutes or it's free. This is Mary. May I take your order?
Hi, Mary. Yes, I'd like to order.
Is this Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Thank you for calling again, sir. I share your national identification number as 610-204-9998-45-54610. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. I see you live at 736 Montrose Court, but you're calling from your cell phone. Are you at home?
I'm just leaving work, but I'm...
Oh, we can deliver to Bob's Auto Supply. That's at 175 Lincoln Avenue, yes?
No, I'm on my way home. How do you know all this stuff?
We just got wired into the system, sir.
Oh, well, I'd like to order a couple of your double meat special pizzas.
Sure thing. There'll be a new $20 charge for those, sir.
What do you mean?
Sir, the system shows me that your medical records indicate that you have high blood pressure and extremely high cholesterol. Luckily, we have a new agreement with your national health care provider that allows us to sell you double meat pies as long as you agree to waive all future claims of liability.
What?
Do you agree, sir? You can sign the form when we deliver, but there is a charge for processing. The total is $67 even.
$67?
Well, that includes the delivery surcharge of $15 to cover the added risk to our driver of traveling through an orange zone.
I live in an orange zone?
Now you do. Looks like there was another robbery on Montrose yesterday. You could save $48 if you ordered our special Sprout Submarine Combo and picked it up yourself. Comes with tofu sticks. Those are very tasty, sir. Good value, too.
But I want double meat.
Well, I'm sure you can afford the $67 then. You just bought those tickets to Hawaii. They weren't cheap, eh? Oh, but I see you checked out the budget beach bum at the library last week. Up to you, sir.
All right. I'll get the Sprout subs.
Good choice, sir. Gotta watch that waist if you're hitting the beach, eh? 42 inches. Wow. Man, I'd say tofu and sprouts is like required.
That's how much?
Just between you and me, there's a $3 off coupon in this month's Total Men's Fitness magazine. Your wife Betty subscribes to that, right? Anyhow, clip that and it's $19.99 even. Whoa, looks like you maxed out on all your credit cards. Bring cash, okay?
Okay. So let's talk about this. We have what, like 10 minutes? 10 minutes, okay. As I said, many of you wrote about privacy. So what's your first take on, Caleb, your first take on hearing this?
I mean, that's pretty alarming because, I mean, this really is kind of the way we're going. I remember reading an article recently, I think it was in the UK, where the police were setting up fake cell phone towers to collect, like, phone and internet data. So, like, stuff like this is actually happening.
So keep going. You're making an observation about things like this are really happening. What about you as a business person? You're the one who owns the pizza company.
Like, if I own the pizza company, like, I don't know why I would need that much information about my customers. Like, I don't know all that data.
You don't?
I don't think I do.
Turner, his company, what's the name of your pizza company? Come on, name it.
Pizza Palace.
Pizza Palace. What's the name of yours, Turner? piece of something. All right, so now tell me how you're going to defeat him, beat him. Let me move on. Austin, tell me how do you defeat him?
Not charge $30 because he has health complications.
I mean, you have a company. You have a company. What's the name of your pizza company? Pizza Castle. So now, Caleb is not going to use that information. You are, right? Right. So how do you beat him?
I guess if you know the person, you could accommodate more to them.
So you, in other words, you're going to use all that information, right? You are. How about you, Alex? You're going to use all that information. How about you, Michael Elder? You would definitely use it, right? Why would you use it, Michael? It would improve your profit. David, how about you? Definitely use it. How many of you would use all this information? Raise your hand. Yeah, that's right, all of it. Yeah. You would use all of it, huh? You'd use some of it, huh? Which part would you not use? You would use their health records. Would you think it would be fair for another company to use yours? I'm sorry? You wouldn't? That's your private information. Well, let's see this. Okay, wait, let's go back here. By the way, here's a fact for you. Did you all know this? You did know this. You kind of knew it, huh? So Google's been requiring you. How does Google record all of your requests? How did they do that? Right. So in other words, whenever you make a search query with your voice, it records it. It's building a big database to be able to more likely anticipate what is it that human beings are actually asking for. So if you want to hear yours, you can actually just go over on, you just type this in, and you can hear yourself all of the requests that you've made. Yeah, you can do this now. Yeah, you do it after class. I'm sure you will. So all right, so let me just move this. I want to do the Black Box Society. This is the one right here. Because Thomas, you said you don't think they should have it. So the question I have for you is, should a credit card company be entitled to raise a couple's interest rate if they seek marriage counseling? Yeah, no, but wait a minute, you're the credit card company.